Hi, I'm Emma, and today I want to talk about the genre of the graphic novel. Okay, so I'll just be like a little cheesy. Um, so I got my bag here from the Art Institute of Chicago. Well, I actually bought it because it was like raining, and then you could kind of like keep things dry. So anyway, yeah, going with my theme, I have something in this bag, but it actually wasn't from the Art Institute. Actually, I got it through an interlibrary loan, but I got this book that is a trilogy of three different graphic novels, and yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. So the author went to grad school at the museum, uh, like the school affiliated with the museum. So this is my little tie-in. Maybe this isn't a good tie-in if I have to like over-explain it. But anyway, moving on. So this is what we're talking about. Okay. So I want to ask, when you think about comics or graphic art, what expectations do you have for the genre? So just thinking about that. So about 20 years before writing about heroes for kids, the graphic novelist Jeffery Brown wrote Clumsy and two other graphic novels in this trilogy book that came out in 2022, but these books were like written in the early 2000s. There was Unlikely and Any Easy Intimacy, and they were about awkward moments in adulthood and romantic relationships, and you know, if knowing someone versus how much can you know them. So not like Sesame Street kind of, well, I don't know, Sesame Street does kind of go deep too, so maybe that isn't the best point, but and again, I know that we have, this isn't anything really new, like, comics for adults per se, because we have Adult Swim, there's BoJack Horseman, South Park, there's manga from Japan with all their series of things. So Jeffrey Brown is not alone in writing for adults in an art form that's thought about more for children, but like I just said, we think about it more for children. That's kind of the main expectation, even if there are many counter examples that it makes it, is it even a counter example anymore? But I think it still kind of is. I think we still kind of have this expectation of the medium. So I think that's kind of interesting for like what it does in terms of the creation process, and also like how we receive it being through this media that we have certain expectations. So I think there's something really refreshing about subverting the expectations of a genre, and I think it can be freeing to express oneself in a medium outfitted almost to do something else, but you're kind of making it your own. So I also think it takes adult themes and kind of softens the blow a bit. The edges aren't as rough because it's kind of this cozy, like, oh, this is like a children's, it's like, looks like a children's book, so how bad could it be? So it makes things easier to process, because after all, they're cute little drawings, and they're charming. Yeah, actually I can show one from the book here. This one says, someday if you end up really liking me, I'll tell you all my issues. So yes, story time. So yeah, not exactly Sesame Street, although I love Sesame Street, don't we all? So yeah, so it's kind of like with art history and like the oil painting. If you do an oil painting, you have to take on the whole history of oil painting. The same thing is for comic books. It's everything comes with baggage. Every media or medium comes with this baggage and expectations of you know, what it'll be, what it'll do, you know, as I'm talking like through YouTube with its own genre, its own expectations. So yeah, because there isn't a established, you know, a history of using the genre in a certain way, because it's more recent in a way, you're more free to see where it takes you. There's more room to maneuver. So you're focusing on less what's come before and focusing more on expressing yourself. Not that you can't do it in these other mediums, but I think it's just different, because whichever media you pick, you're going to have certain baggage that goes along with it. So, you know, so just decide your baggage, you know, when you pick your media. And, you know, I just think it's kind of interesting, this kind of yeah, I guess just this juxtaposition of like the expectations of like a child's, you know, medium, you know, with adult themes, and kind of what that does. So, you know, if you want to express yourself, you might not think that it's socially acceptable to draw a comic strip about it, but, you know, give yourself permission. A lot of people doing that. And yeah, you know, I think, you know, adults have started kind of taking over coloring books, you know, which was thought of as like a child's activity. I just checked out like an adult coloring book from the library. Yeah, it's kind of great. And yeah, I think adults can reclaim, you know, things that they've left behind in childhood, if it's something that could, you know, serve a positive, you know, function in their lives. Obviously, you know, like, you know, when we become an adult, you know, like we, you know, you know, like the Bible says, like we put away our childish ways. But some things, you know, like a coloring book, graphic novel, we can, you know, we can bring it along. So, so yeah, so, yeah, so, you know, let's reclaim these things. And if you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe, and, you know, make a drawing if you are so inclined. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.